Hey all, it's Nim, or Nimicry if you're feeling professional, and welcome to the YouTube video. Now before we get started, I gotta let you guys know, apparently there's a storm. I grabbed an umbrella, okay, so we're safe. We're safe from this. I was told by Blizzard, there's a loot storm. There's too much. Loot shower. I don't know what to do. And apparently you get too much loot in Castle Nathria. Wowhead has an article over it, but I got this umbrella just in case too much loot falls on us. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. My umbrella's dry. My room is dry. I didn't get a single piece of raid loot off 3 bosses. Maybe this is all blown out of proportion. All jokes aside in the intro, there is a problem if we get too much loot, and there's a problem if we get too little. Now, if you ask the players, normally it's we're not getting enough, we're not getting enough, we're not getting enough. But if we keep giving more and more and more and more and more, then people log off. They're like, oh, we finished characters. Now, I do often like to push back a little bit of personal history here. I remember BIS lists. And I think we're getting back to that, when you could finish a character reasonably. You're like, okay, I got the best helmet, got the best thing, you know, my guild's not going to push past this boss on Mythic, because it's just too hard. So, why not just have everything, you know, work out? So, in a post by Kyvax, the community manager, about loot amounts in Castle Nathria. Soon after the Castle Nathria raid went live, for normal and heroic difficulties this week, we discovered a bug that was causing an unintended additional amount of loot to drop. Due to this bug, bosses have been dropping an average of 5 items for a 20-player raid group, with an average of 3 items intended. Throughout the design and testing of Shadowlands, we've had a consistent goal of bringing similarity to the rate of loot acquisition that players experience in each of the main in-game activities: raiding, Mythic Keystone Dungeons, and PvP. This bug, if left unaddressed, would prioritize normal and heroic raiding over similar difficulty dungeons and PvP progression. We're developing a fix for this issue, which we will implement with a scheduled weekly maintenance Tuesday, December 15th in this region. Neither the bug nor the fix will affect conduits, legendary memories, as their drop chances are determined separately. Okay, so right there we have a couple of different things that are stated. First, let's take a look here and see that conduits, legendary memories are guaranteed to drop. So some arguments are like, well, we'd get more loot if we didn't have all these conduits dropping. We know that the conduits are going to drop. That's fine. Don't worry about that. That's something different than gear that you would equip. Same thing with legendary memories. Next is they want to bring everything in line, you know, have a certain amount of parity. And that makes sense because the Great Chest, the Great Vault, you're gonna have a certain amount. There's 9 choices if you kill 10 raid bosses, if you do, I think 10 to 15 Mythic Plus dungeons, and if you do a whole bunch of rated PvP, you can end up every week having 9 choices. Now, granted, you can still only pick 1, and if, let's say, all 9 hypothetically are not great, then what you can do is you can actually you can actually say, give me the crafting resource. Now, we don't know how much the crafting resource is, how much it's gonna share yet, because obviously this is the first week where we've had Mythic Plus. This is the first week where we've had raid bosses. Now, they say that there's been a bug with dropping 5 items per 20-player raid group. Now, I don't know how much raiding people have done. I have some friends on Twitter who have cleared normal. I have some friends on Twitter who are working on heroic. And I think I have some people who are on heroic, some friends who are on Siren and Athreus heroic. So, and a few people might have AOTC here and there. Anyway, all over the spectrum, right? From non-raiders to the hardcore, which I like to be at. Right now, I'm working on it. Holy Paladin, Glimmer. Boom. But, here's the thing. None of them have told me the gearing has been plentiful. None of them. Now, maybe, hypothetically, that's from a player perspective, where you're like, oh, no matter what we give you, if we say we're going to give you more, or if we say we're taking away something, it feels bad. And that is possible. There is a bias towards your own player power and own player gain. But what I want to mention here is, that's not a bad idea. 5 items per 20-player raid group, so, you know, you got a 25% chance of getting something, and then you have to roll against individual loot tables. If we remove memories and conduits because they're determined separately, you might have a couple of different pieces. And I could see why some people may say, hey, that's a little too much. Hey, that's a little too much. I don't necessarily agree. I like the idea of 3 items as intended with a 4th bonus. every now and again, I think is fine, as opposed to 2 and 3. And again, I don't know all the inner mechanics. I don't work at Blizzard. I'm only commenting on the state of the game. Bottom line is, I don't think there's too much loot. Now, I'm sure they could probably, if someone has some evidence to show me that there's too much loot, because let's say you run 8 mythic dungeons in a week, right? That's all of them. You do all the base M0s. That's more than 1 dungeon a day. Pretty standard play, not gonna lie. It's pretty standard. But let's say you run 10 dungeons. Or let's go with 14. That's 2 dungeons per day. Should we have a higher drop rate? I don't know. It depends. Because I know right now with Mythic Plus dungeons, we've had, and Castle Nathria, I really enjoyed the 35 anima I got. Now, some people may say, oh, Nim, be glad you got your 35 anima, because otherwise, you didn't have anything. And it's like, okay, yeah, I mean, I guess. It's a consolation prize. And I understand, I'm not going to get fully geared all the time. But everybody, I don't know, everybody feels progress. Progress rate is like that. Bottom line, loot isn't all that important. To me, right now, I like it. It's fun. I like getting new gear. I like, especially being a healer, I always want to feel a little more overgeared if possible. But I can understand why they might want to tone it down. 5 might be too much. 5 might not be enough. It all depends on, how my raid group is performing. If my raid group is smashing the content, I'm going to think 5 is too much. If my raid group is just, like, clawing for victory, man, give me 6, 7, 8 items per boss kill. Personally, I'd like to see the BOE rate upped. That way you keep the market under control, and everybody has more chances. And I would love to see a return to Master Looter. Please. Belluar had a tweet earlier today, and I'll throw it up on screen here now. But it basically had said that there's no way that WoW and Blizzard can dictate what's better for our raid group than what I could as, say, Loot Master. Now, are there assholes who had abused in the past? Sure. But I raided for years with a Loot Council and Master Looter, and it was fine. Sometimes I was an officer, sometimes I wasn't. Sometimes I was a tank, sometimes I was a heals, sometimes I was a DPS. But it was fine. We all agreed to play by the rules, and we all agreed to have everything work for the betterment of the team. It's not individual player power, it's who gets the most benefit from this item, and then from there we just fall down the line. Anyways, that's my take on loot. Little loot rant here at the beginning of Shadowlands. Other than all that, I gotta say, I really like Shadowlands. It's been a great expansion so far. The world quests are a little long, but no, it is what it is. I only have to do a couple each day. That being said, guys, if you like the video, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and do all those things. I stream on Twitch Saturday and Sunday Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday, Tuesday, Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and Sunday I'm on a different channel, so I guess we can call that there. There'll be something on the screen there. Anyways, that being said, this was the first video with the noise gate, so we're going to be doing some fine-tuning. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye! Hey, thanks for watching this World of Warcraft content. I genuinely appreciate you doing that. Feel free to check out another video, subscribe, and if you feel really dedicated, you can always check me out at Patreon. There'll be a link in the down there part. Enjoy this, and I hope to see you in the next video.